Happening now, local lawmakers in Jamestown are working with the city school district to improve pedestrian safety, the latest in the push to roll out traffic cams. And Chautauqua County's fair is expected to make a comeback this year, rides and all. Plus, a look at the improvement ideas for a popular Mayville park. We break down what's on the table next.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our latest local news is coming up. But first, straight line wind damage from a strong line of severe thunderstorms brought down trees and power lines across parts of Chautauqua County on Monday evening. Very impressive viewer images. They flooded our newsroom thanks to you, as max wind gusts of up to 70 miles an hour preluded heavy rains in places like French Creek, where Terry captured an outflow caused by the storm. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us now with more from her and what other weather eyes captured yesterday. Dakota?
Yes, yesterday afternoon and evening, we told you about this, how there was the potential for a couple strong storms, and boy, did we have them. This is the picture that Justin had alluded to. Terry was on a tractor in French Creek and captured this. This is the outflow of the storm. The outflow is where the air, the cold air comes out of the storm. It's called the outflow, and this is just another picture of it. This is over Chautauqua Lake near the lake bridge. Mitch Bellinger, who was out chasing these storms, captured this. And how about this from Brandy? Again, very creepy looking clouds, CLCs, creepy looking clouds, but this was not a tornado. A lot of people were trying to classify this as a tornado. It's just the outflow of the storm with a lot of low hanging scud. How about this video that came in? Again, you can see the inflow wrapping back into the storm. So a lot of people look at this and go, my goodness, that's a tornado. We need to get to the basement or your safe place. Well, that's not a tornado. Again, that's just low-hanging scud, again, with the outflow, with the strong winds coming out of that storm. And it left behind damage, again, tree damage all throughout the region. Again, where you got those storms yesterday, this is what you can expect in terms of the damage. Lots of trees down, power outages across the westernmost areas. And again, Mitch Bellinger and Sean Sweatman were out chasing this. And again, this is some of the damage pics that they got. But it's quiet today, though, and you can see the clouds thickening up. So we'll call today basically overcast to cloudy through the afternoon hours. In fact, here's the forecast for you. Just mostly cloudy. Temperatures are below average, 47 to 54 with a light shower. But yeah, some white stuff on the way for tomorrow. I'm sorry. We'll time it out with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show, Justin.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you back in a bit. Jamestown City Council lawmakers are pushing to roll out speed cameras in school zones as a new way to improve student safety. Our Bronson Rasmussen has more on what's next and what school officials have to say.
On Monday night, Jamestown City Council voted to move forward with a project to install speed enforcement traffic cameras within school zones. However, before the idea becomes reality, city officials need approval from New York State. As Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist explains, Chautauqua County's local assemblyman is helping to speed up the process.
It's looking like that may actually be taken up by the legislature this year. So in speaking with Assemblyman Goodell, he asked us to process through and do another home rule legislation. We had to do it, unfortunately, this quick because if we waited to May, we may have run out of time for when their legislation session.
Nevertheless, Jamestown Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Kevin Whitaker says something needs to be done to keep kids safe, and it's not just on the drivers to do so.
It's not just a driver issue. This is everybody plays a role here. People who are using the roads, our students, our families, our community, our staff, everybody needs to be aware of this sort of thing and make sure that student safety is at the top of the list.
Recently, students have been involved in several traffic-related accidents. Whitaker tells us that the school is working with students and families to prevent future accidents, however.
Previous incidents that we had, the drivers were in no way speeding or driving recklessly. So it certainly wasn't the fault of the drivers. We had a couple of students run out into the road, and it was extremely difficult, if not impossible, for the drivers to see them.
The proposed project will use speed sensing cameras to capture violations. An officer would then review the footage and issue citations if needed. Previously, Jamestown City Council pushed to hire more crossing guards to increase student safety as well. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. Lawmakers also voted in favor of working with the Chautauqua County Humane Society to establish a community cats program to trap, neuter, and vaccinate and return those stray cats to the Jamestown area. A Chautauqua County village has misplaced more than $20,000 in public taxpayer money. That's according to the New York State Comptroller, who says from July 2012 to August 2016, the village of Sherman's treasurer failed to deposit more than $20,000 in recorded real property taxes, water, sewer, and general fund receipts. Furthermore, the comptroller says the town board failed to provide adequate oversight and did not annually audit the former treasurer's records and reports. Since then, the comptroller's office has contacted outside law enforcement to review these findings. Going forward, the state comptroller is asking that town to work to recover their missing funds and develop new policies and additional oversight to prevent misuse from happening again. New York's governor is holding strong on the state's $1 million commitment to help build a new stadium for the Buffalo Bills, even though opinion on the public financial investment is waning. Governor Kathy Hochul visited Buffalo yesterday, touting the investment in the recently passed 2023 budget, including the $600 million allocated to the new stadium. However, recent polling from Siena College found that many across the Empire State, over 60% of those questioned, disapprove of the state's financial commitment here. Nevertheless, Hochul touts the importance of keeping the pro sports team in the region.
And I love the fact that this is the largest construction project in Western New York history with 10,000 union jobs. Let's hear it for the men and women of labor. We're going to keep building magnificent buildings.
In total, the new stadium in Orchard Park will cost $1.4 billion, breaking ground from across the street from that current complex. Under the tenets of the deal, the team would stay in Western New York for 30 years. The Chautauqua County Fair is set to make a comeback this year, opening in late July. Organizers behind the event announced that news yesterday, that the longtime tradition will return to the fairgrounds in Dunkirk from Tuesday, July 19th through Sunday, July 24th. Now, last year, the event was put on hold for a second consecutive year due to the lack of guidance from New York State. In addition to traditional grandstands events like the Demolition Derby, officials say classic fair food and amusement rides will also return. Tickets are scheduled to go on sale mid-June, with additional information expected to be released then. As WNY News Now continues, how this year's switch between warm and cold is impacting local farmers. And later last night, many may have seen some of that bad weather. The big question, were you ready? A look at the push to prepare everyone this Severe Weather Awareness Week. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Chautauqua County is in dire need of child care providers, and we need your help. The Chautauqua Child Care Council is hosting several special webinars to help you enter the child care industry. Setting up a child care program is easier than you think. It could start in your home, caring for a few children, or grow into a large operation at a daycare center. If financials are a challenge, no worries. The New York State Office of Children and Family Services is offering a grant opportunity to help you get started.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area, hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at Northwest Arena, where both kids and parents alike can learn about activities available to youth. Later in the evening, finish out the night at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. Stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream.
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Whoa, Pre-Comic Book Day is almost here.
There's comic books for all ages.
Stop on down to Stockwell Comics at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown and pick up some free comics. From superheroes to science fiction, there are tons of options.
100% free. Just show up on May 7th starting at 11 a.m.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
The fight for control of the U.S. House moves to New York's highest court today, where judges will determine whether Democrats illegally gerrymandered the boundaries of the state's newly redrawn congressional districts. New York's Court of Appeals is expected to hear arguments in a lawsuit brought by a group of Republican voters challenging the legitimacy of the new district maps. The suit says the Democratic-controlled legislature violated the provisions in the state's constitution that barred the redrawing of districts for partisan gain. New York's governor and legislative leaders deny that they bent the rules, but the 2 lower courts have already ruled that the district maps were drafted specifically to give Democrats an advantage. A mid-level appeals court last week gave the legislature a deadline of April 30th to come up with a revised map, or else they would leave the redrafting process in the hands of a court-appointed expert. And we're less than a month away from the Pennsylvania primary elections, and the race for the Pennsylvania Congressional Senate seat is now heating up. Political analyst Jeff Bloodworth tells us that the last time Democrats really showed up to the polls for midterm elections was in 2018, when former President Donald Trump was in office. He says back then the Dems were really motivated to change the political landscape. But now that they're in power, he says it's not likely that they will have that same turnout this time around.
You look at the job approval rating. If a president is at 45% below, man, that's tough. If you are a person of the same party to win a statewide contest.
Now, currently, there are 7 Republicans and 4 Democrats trying to earn their party's nomination for the Senate race. This seat was held by Republican Senator Pat Toomey since 2011, but he has decided to not run again. Back in 2016, he barely won his seat back, beating Democrat Katie McGinney by just 1.5 percentage points. Pennsylvania's primary election set for May 17th. And officials and farmers from across PA are testifying about the impacts of flooding across the Commonwealth. A package of bills that would give local governments and landowners more control over waterway improvements was announced by state lawmakers in the Northern Tier last month. Environmental Resources and Energy Committee has listened to testimony about the challenges facing farmers and officials like lake erosion and degradation. Those who testified this week say the process to make waterway improvements has many regulatory barriers like permits and long waits. Local farmers say the package of bills in Harrisburg are common sense measures and they'd benefit all communities around the state.
We're all in the same boat here together. We're all working towards the future. We're trying to save the environment for the next generation. Everybody's trying to make a living. I think the message is that we all want to work together and get along, and we just want to make it easier for everybody to do so.
Now, the bill sponsors say they're hoping to get the legislation through the General Assembly and onto the governor's desk in time for the summer construction season. Well, the switch to cold weather this week is surely not good news for local farmers. They've already been dealing with a tricky growing season. Erie News Now's Elsbeth Meisner spoke with a longtime local farmer whose concerns are being highlighted.
Blue skies in April are welcome news for local farmers, especially after a challenging winter.
The apple trees at this point are doing absolutely great. After the frost damage last year, the trees have come back, and there's a potential of a magnificent bumper apple crop.
While these buds may look perfect right now for the possibility of larger apples, in just a few days that story could be very different with the possibility of colder temperatures. That news has Tim Birch, owner of Birch Farms, concerned.
I honestly believe right now at the pink stage of growth of the trees that they should be able to tolerate, 30, maybe 28 degrees. The weathermen have not predicted those low temperatures, but we're going to be very, very close.
On top of chilly weather, the price of farm equipment adds another layer of stress to Birch.
Prices have just gone up so high. Not only that, it's very, very difficult to get replacement parts. It always seems like there's one item that's on back order, and then when you finally get it and see the bill, it's like, holy mackerel, it's very, very expensive.
Birch says he can do everything right when it comes to growing his crops, but it always ends up in the hands of Mother Nature.
Blood pressure up there, very nerve-wracking and stressful. But in the end, there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Mother Nature has total control.
Elspeth Meisner, Erie News Now.
All right, Elspeth, thank you. Speaking of weather, Governor Kathy Hochul has declared this week Severe Weather Awareness Week to highlight the seasonal dangers of flooding, tornadoes, and thunderstorms during the spring and summer months here in New York State. New York State now teaming up with the National Weather Service to educate the public on what to expect from specific weather threats. The state recommends 4 steps you should follow for personal preparedness. Be sure to make a plan, including a safe place to take shelter, prepare an emergency kit, and stay tuned to local media and news alerts. And also get involved with the Emergency Management Service. On average, across the U.S., 88 people die per year in floods, 41 due to lightning, and 68 due to tornadoes. And coming up, the latest push for a tech entrepreneur to purchase Twitter, and later, the improvement ideas now being tossed around about a Mayville park. But first, when we return, it's a full look at our weather forecast as things are cooling off. Stay right there.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. And speaking about that last story before we went to commercial break there, a lot of people tend to overlook lightning, but lightning can kill. It's what we say, lightning is frightening. So when you hear lightning or you hear thunder, you need to go indoors. This is a camera that was knocked offline yesterday, but it's back. The Mayville Skycam. We were watching this camera as the storms were moving on through, and it went black. And I was telling our staff in our chat internally that all the Mayville cameras went down. That's not a good sign, and it certainly wasn't. There was some damage up around Mayville, and where you got the storms yesterday, there was a good amount of rainfall. Olean, almost 1.5 inches worth of rainfall. Mayville, speaking of which, over an inch worth of rainfall. 1 inch in Fredonia, almost an inch in Dunkirk. Clymer in Jamestown, a little more than a half inch worth of rainfall here in town. And the good news is the rain has tapered off for today. HD News Now cam showing lots of clouds downtown, 43 with a northwest wind of 9. This is why it's colder. The winds has shifted around to the northwest. So the northwest wind always brings in that colder air. And speaking of the colder air, here we go again, folks. Look at this. 51 today, down to 37 tomorrow, and that comes with snow. I'm sorry. 44 on Thursday. Then we start to warm it back up again by the time we go into the weekend. But we are going to stay below average for at least the next 7 days. I don't think we're going to see any significant warm up coming for a while. So there's the cold front that's moved on through. That is why it's much colder today. That cold front shoving that colder air back in. But notice there's some clearing back behind there. That's going to be coming our way later in the week. So Future Scan tries to paint a couple showers. Wouldn't rule that out, but I do think much of the day will be mainly dry with a lot of clouds, but wouldn't rule out a passing light rain shower. Tonight, the rain starts to increase, then mixes with wet snow showers. So we'll start with rain showers first this evening, transitioning to a wintry mix, then over to all snow overnight through the morning hours tomorrow. Then the snow showers will continue through the day on Wednesday. The good news is this will be mostly wet, so accumulation low, and not everybody is going to see it. So speaking of that, here's the updated snowfall accumulation. I don't think all of this is going to stick, so understand that, but where it does stick, you could see about a ½ inch worth of snowfall accumulation. The better chance for this sticking is going to be on the hills. The lower elevations will likely see no accumulation. So 29 to 37 tonight. Again, showers, then to the wintry mix, then to all snow by the morning hours. Then we'll stay in those snow showers for Wednesday. So there it is on the next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solution. I've got 3 days worth of sunshine in there.
Woohoo!
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as the temperatures continue to warm up. Looks like the warmest day over the next 7 is going to be on Sunday. We're up to 63, a few more clouds, and then rain returns, Justin, by next Monday.
All right, I'm not to complain. If we can get through Wednesday, it doesn't seem too bad out there, Dakota. Thank you very much. A New York judge is holding former President Donald Trump in civil contempt. It comes after the state's attorney general's office said Trump did not comply with a subpoena for documents as part of its investigation into his company, the Trump Organization. The judge said Monday he's filing Trump's $10,000 a day until he will comply. A Trump attorney said Trump simply does not have the types of written communications being sought, but has produced hundreds of thousands of documents through his assistants. The AG says that Trump does not email or send texts and has no work computer anywhere. New York Attorney General Letitia James' office has been investigating the Trump Organization for more than 2 years now. Her office had said in a court filing the company is under investigation for fraudulent or misleading conduct in appropriations and financial statements. Well, Twitter announced yesterday it is selling the company to Elon Musk for about $44 billion. The news comes 11 days after the Tesla and SpaceX CEO shocked the industry by offering to buy the social media giant. Less than a month ago, Musk revealed he had taken a more than 9% stake in that company. The deal will put the world's richest man in charge of one of the world's most influential social media platforms. In a tweet, no more fitting, yesterday, Musk said he hopes the biggest critics stay on the platform to help bolster free speech. U.S.'s Supreme Court justices will hear arguments about a controversial immigration policy today. The court is considering Title 42, a Trump-era policy that lets U.S. border officials turn migrants away due to public health concerns, namely the COVID-19 pandemic. President Joe Biden wants to end that policy. It's something known as the Remain in Mexico program next month. But critics of removing the order say it will likely cause a greater surge of migrants at an already stressed border. More than 20 states have filed lawsuits asking the court to immediately intervene. In a separate challenge yesterday, a federal judge in Louisiana blocked the Biden administration from ending the border restriction. Next, as WNY News Now continues, the public hears improvement ideas for a popular park in Mayville. They get a first-hand look at the ideas on the table when we come back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Visit the Northwest Arena on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. Learn about activities available to youth in the Jamestown area, plus end the night with fireworks at the Tarp Skunks game. Learn more online at ccsolutions716.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Preliminary draft plans for Mayville's Lakeside Park improvements were shared with the community last night, with the plan focusing on improving amenities to stimulate economic growth across the region. Julia Gress taking a deeper look.
It's those types of things that we can do in the park to activate it, to improve the quality of life of the current residents and also attract more outside people, more tourists, in order to improve the economic vitality of the area.
Mark Geis, Deputy County Executive for Economic Development, tells us community input gathered for the project found that street calming measures, beach enhancements, an additional boat launch, a skating rink or splash park, hiking trails, and green infrastructure are amongst top priorities. Mayville residents Kate Barr and Mark Perry see a lot of potential with the plans.
If we can keep this natural and develop it to the point of getting a lot more traffic here, it'll grow up into the village and help our village.
Barr explained that a pier with various shops and a restaurant could bring the community together.
Perhaps use, the performing center as a space for people to come down and do yoga classes or just community interests that people have, maybe free, maybe $5, but another place that people could come and do what they like to do.
Perry believes a comprehensive plan by the village would increase the odds of acquiring state grant money for the projects. Those who attended the meeting were able to vote for their favorite version of each idea to decide which vision will be brought to life at the park. Ideas to keep people who are already utilizing the area to lengthen their stay were also discussed.
You got all these snowmobilers coming through here. Well, let's do some more things to give them reason to stop and to spend money here. You got the ice fishermen, and then of course I talked about the skating rink that would, provide an activity for young people during the winter months.
Though the downturn of the lodge project has put the future of the land in question, Geis is hopeful that it could be turned into another feature to draw others to the area. Serena Gilkinson, president of Mayville Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce, says area businesses rely on that type of tourism the new improvement could bring.
The park is definitely an asset that we have that we need to utilize, and businesses, really depend on everything that we can offer in the village. So having this here means it brings other people into other businesses.
The deputy says input from the meeting will be used to tweak the plan, which will only become finalized if the village board approves it. Once approved, individual projects will be put forth for funding. Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
All right, Julia, thank you very much. Yeah, it's interesting to see, and there's so many great ideas. Obviously, they can't necessarily do them all, Dakota, but nevertheless, one thing that kind of stands out to me when thinking about Lakeside Park is it really does have all year round use. So it's, I think, good on the public and the planners to make sure that that's recognized. Where, yeah, the summer is great, and I think a lot of people know them for the 4th of July festivities, fireworks, but they have the Ice Castle, they have the Winter Fest. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Polar plunges throughout the year, obviously when it's winter, but nevertheless,
Lakeside
really
Park really is Mayville's gateway to the lake, if you really think about it.
Yeah, it is. It is. And yesterday was the hopping place to be for that meeting and for subsequent weather out there. A lot calmer now. Here's a live look over it.
Someone's enjoying the lake.
Yeah, that right. Looks,
you're famous.
You're going fishing, buddy. That's it for us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.